So for this video, we're gonna be going over the episode that came out today, episode 7 of Classroom of the Elite Y2 Season 4. And like many episodes, this was a great setup episode for before they go in the they do the test. So we see in the beginning, people start to talk to each other most notably the representative from the major players, the major people, the key people for the year one class. Um, and they kind of just talk about strategy, like, oh, who are we gonna team up and how to get Class D involved, because as we know, because of Hosen, like the whole class is scared to do anything because of Hosen. And we just did a whole strategy meeting of like, okay, how are we gonna do this? Like, how can we entice Hosen to join us and everything, and just just doing that. And so we got all these meetings, but the one meeting that caught interest was the one the towards the end of the episode. So it was between mainly three people: Hosen, the blonde girl, and the redhead girl. So they kind of have like this little makeshift meeting to kind of like talk about, like, okay, how are we gonna, like, who's gonna get the reward when when they take down COTE for that 20 million points, and they talk about like strategy and groups. And one of the things they talked about was like forming. In the beginning of the episode, Hosen kind of got, I think, cause some in the beginning, like I said, there was already a meeting of like first years. And so in that meeting, they were like, "Oh, why don't we just form like a group of first years, but like very athletic and strong first years?" Because they brought up a really good point. Like, aside from using your mind, like, it's gonna be physical labor pretty much. And like they acknowledge that Class D is probably um has the most people with with physical attributes or whatever. So that's why they want Class C. Anyways, back to the meeting. So they have this meeting between Hosen, the blonde girl, and the redhead girl, talking about, oh, let's form this powerful group. And Hosen kind of gives the redhead girl kind of his word of, like, you can have the reward, so she can finally like be like, okay, I'll join in, because before she was like, oh, what's in it for me? And the blonde haired girl was like, oh, we're not gonna pay because we're all equal. And then that's where we kind of get an insight, at least for me. So from that point, that's where like the redhead girl was like, oh, so you think you're strong, and then tries to throw like a jab, like tries to sucker punch the blonde haired girl, but the blonde haired girl catches it in midair, like as it's traveling. So she catches it, and then that's when, at least for me, like, in the show, they kind of have this look standoff thing of like, oh, you are more than what you seem. Then Hosen says something earlier, later. So after the meeting, when the girl leaves, is like, oh, don't worry, I'm not even gonna like agree, cause it's just verbal. It's just, I said this. I said I agree, but you have no proof. So it brings up, oh, it was a verbal agreement, like it doesn't matter. I'll just, keep the 20 million points, even though I didn't say yeah. So backstabbing her essentially, and the episode ends with that her walking away, and then Holson, his last words were, "Oh, we're gonna backstab her" or something, and that's how the episode ends. But the reason I piqued my interest was because Holson said something before the episode ended. He said, "Oh, the reason I want this girl so bad on my team is because she has unexplored or undiscovered depths like you." And so, to me, when I heard that, um, it kind of rung a bell in my head because, like, I don't know, it kind of, at least for the viewers, because I have no idea of the manga, it kind of like insinuates stuff, like, like those two girls were probably also sent by the White Room or even trained by the White Room, because I mean, I don't know, that's the kind of vibe they give me, like, that's the kind of stuff like I expect. How do you call it? On Koji to pull off like a catching your sucker punch in midair. Like I'd expect that from like a White Room class alumni. And with that little comment that Hosen made of like, oh, that girl has like unexplored depths. So what he probably means is that she's probably hiding something, just like the blonde girl is hiding something. Oh, like I said, I haven't read the manga or anything, so I don't know what this blonde-haired girl is hiding. It could be the fact that she did, um, maybe she did in her younger years, maybe before. She was just a really talented, top-of-the-line martial artist. Or the theory I'm going with is that she's the traitor, or she's not. She might not even be the traitor. She might be like part of the squad. Like I feel like in order to get on Koja, like they have to sound like multiple people to finally get him. Aside from the main person that we saw, um, in episode one when we when that whole special test was introduced. But I feel like for them, like to get a white person out, because even the boss, his father, acknowledges his like, yeah, even my own son. That sounds biased, but even my own son is the greatest masterpiece of the White Room. So I don't know. I feel like it could be possible that they sent multiple White Room kids that we just didn't know. We only saw one. But anyways, yeah, that's my own theory. I mean, like it would explain like one, like they're very smart compared to other people, like I know Koji, and that comment what Jose said of like they have unexplored depth, like depth, like they're hiding something they're hiding their true capabilities from the rest of the class, and I just think that's the case. For me, it really makes sense. Um, it would explain some things of like why they're so, especially the girl, why she's so like why it's so important to get on a Koja. I know you get the point. 20 million private points is wow, but like still like for to get expelled, and I think even the reasons on that school is like really hard to get in. Um, yeah, so I don't know if you wanna like play with expulsion at that point, even though they are first years. But yeah, that's kind of my whole synopsis of the whole episode. Like I said, I do believe that the redhead girl and the blonde-haired girl were part of like this group sent to get on a Koji expelled, and honestly, it does make the whole like test now interesting. And one thing that I didn't really take into account, which one of the kids said in the beginning, is that these second and third years have experience. Like they have been through it before. And yes, even though it's bigger, like the whole island is bigger and the rules are more, I wouldn't say lax, but they're more like, I don't know, they try to include as many people. So it's, aside from that, it's like we've literally seen them do this test before, like survive on a deserted island. And yeah, that was one of the things the kid brought up. And honestly, like I said, I didn't really um I didn't even really think about that. So that was a really, I don't know, that was something I forgot completely. But overall, I think it was a pretty cool episode. Can't wait for episode 8 to come out. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna end it here. Please leave a like, subscribe, and of course, please leave a comment. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.